What's up, guys? It is Langosta and JoJo here.
How's it?
And you're watching live Rifles, Rods, and Broads.
We are live once again. We missed the first Tuesday of the month, but we made it up to the people, and we are here in the second Tuesday. We try for the first Tuesday of every month, but if it doesn't happen because life happens, then we'll make it up to them.
Hey, for those of you that haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe. We are trying to hit our numbers over on the YouTube, and your support is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, 100%. Rifles, Rods, and Broads on YouTube. You can check us out on Instagram as well as Facebook. I think at last check, we're growing, man.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
We're right around 275 followers, which is beautiful. We started off at 0.
Yeah, it's hard to get momentum, so we feel like we're finally starting to get some momentum, so it's definitely cool.
Yeah, I think consistency will pay off.
Yeah, and hey, for those of you guys that have been watching our Wheelgun Wednesdays, what do you guys think of that? I'm curious to get your feedback. I noticed that there's some people doing Wheelgun Wednesdays, and they don't shoot. They just show the gun off, and they have a ton of views.
Yeah, but you've got a ton of views for the videos that we're posting with your Wheelgun Wednesdays, and I think it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, until I run out of guns, and so we'll have to sort something out.
Well, well, let's talk about sorting that out, because
Eventually.
I think there's some new additions to Wheelgun Wednesdays that are on their way to.
Well, we have so we haven't gone through the whole genre, so we're just basically shooting some of the guns that I've had in my collection and my dad's collection, and then we're adding a few new ones this next quarter to the overall. So we're hoping to have some variety, and I think once we have gone through all of the wheel guns, then what we'll do is we'll do some combinations. We'll do some maybe 357 against your 10 millimeter Magnum or 10 millimeter pistol. Do stuff like that, so we can kind of keep it going.
Well, you got more guns on the way, so that Wheelgun Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Some of our best viewed videos.
Yeah. No, it's doing pretty good. So
we'll do some ASMR on the wheels on the wheel gun.
It'll be good. It's fun to shoot too, so we can keep that going. Keep the momentum going. So what do you got going on this show here?
So tonight, I figured we kind of have a variety show, and we kind of talk about everything that's going on. It's a live show, so we'll jump topics and we'll get into some details, talk about a lot of different things that are going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on here in California.
Yep.
As everybody knows, if you guys are into hunting season, it is now the time to put in for your tags. If you haven't put in for quite a few states already, then you're already too late. But there are some states that are still out there. If you are interested in out-of-state hunting, then make sure you put in for your tags. I put in for Arizona elk. I did not get drawn. That draw took place, I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, at least the good thing about that, I mean, if you can want to look on the bright side, is they don't leave you hanging. You're in, and right away, and then you can make other plans, right? You can plan accordingly.
Exactly, and that's one of the nice things about Arizona, is that they kind of draw. They're one of the first ones to draw. So it's one of the first deadlines, and it's one of the first states to draw, and everybody that you put in with, it's like, hey, check your credit card, because that's where it's going to hit first.
Got it.
So if you're successful, you're going to see a charge on your credit card from the Arizona Fish and Game,
right,
or Arizona Fish and Wildlife Department. And I unfortunately did not see anything drawn on my credit card. But the cool thing about Arizona is that Arizona offers some incentive programs. And some of the incentive programs is loyalty. They honor loyalty.
Okay.
So in Arizona, if you put in for 5 years, after that 5th year of putting in, and say you don't get drawn, or even if you get drawn, if you put in 5 consistent straight years, they give you a loyalty bonus point.
Okay.
Which is nice. Yeah, they reward you with that bonus point, and that bonus point doesn't go away. So basically, say you've built up 7 points, 8 points, and you draw your tag. You don't start back at 0.
Got it.
You start back at 1, because you have that loyalty point that doesn't go away. So that's kind of like incentivizing, kind of putting in for Arizona.
How much do they keep every time you apply?
They keep the license and the application fee. So,
which is how much about ballpark?
And ballpark's about $165, $170.
And that's part of the money that they use for their
conservation. Everything kind of goes towards conservation. It's not bad. The other good thing about Arizona is that everything else that you put in for, it's just you're paying for the application fee. So you buy the license. I think it's like $155. We can look it up, but it's like $155, and then $15 for each species of animal application.
No, I think that's good. I mean, Arizona's not a huge state, so they don't. You can tell in the game animals when you go there. There's definitely game animals. They're managed well.
There's something in the minerals, but yeah, they do well. There's some great elk hunting spots in Arizona. Another good thing too is that for people that are interested in getting their kids into hunting, Arizona is actually a great state for that, because for the youth license, it's not very much at all. I think it's like $15 or $20. I probably should have researched or had the exact number.
No, but it's
reasonable. Literally, it's less than $50.
Sure.
And then you can just put in for all the species. So by the time your child actually knows what you've been doing all along, they've garnered and gained so many points.
Oh.
But in between that time, what I'm thinking about right now, because myself and my brother-in-law, we've been putting in for our kids. So my daughter Kira has a bunch of points.
Cool.
My daughter Kayla's on her second point, and they don't even know it. Okay. But one of the things is that, do you burn the points on like a youth hunt, which has good odds to draw, right? You take them out hunting in maybe a unit that you want to do or scout more, or just kind of lay foot in, right?
Sure.
And then kind of get that experience? Or do you just kind of hold off to where they become adults? Now they've got this whole pocket full of points, and now you can kind of cash them in for, some better units that are going to have, better bulls, larger herds of elk, or a larger population of elk. So we're kind of debating on that, on whether or not we're going to spend the points on a youth hunt, which again is not too difficult. You still have to put in, and you still got to get drawn, but it's not as difficult as one of those like kind of high end hunts.
Well, luckily you got two kids, so maybe one gets a youth hunt and the other one gets the big bull area. So
it's a whole new strategy. So we've got between our family like 3 kids in the game, between my 2 and Dustin's 1. So we'll see what happens there. But Arizona didn't get drawn. One of our buddies, Chad, actually got drawn in Arizona. So he's going to be heading out there during elk season and doing an elk hunt, a cow
Mr.
elk hunt.
6'5" Creedmoor.
Mr. Chad. He'll be on the show one of these days. He's avoiding us.
Yeah, 6'5" Creedmoor. Oh, hey, what do you use on that elk? I'm going to use my 6'5" Creedmoor. Hey, what do you use on that deer? A 6'5" Creedmoor. What'd you shoot that coyote with? A 6'5" Creedmoor.
I've never talked to him about what he shoots, but is it a 6.5?
Just 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh yeah, sounds like a Misha rifle.
He's a one rifleman. No, that's what he likes. That's what he likes. He puts copper bullets in and he calls it dead.
Yeah. So we got Arizona. I didn't draw. I've got my my money tied up in Wyoming. I'm putting in for a Wyoming elk tag, and Wyoming's one of those states you actually have to drop the money in order to get drawn.
Like Colorado.
The whole amount, yeah. And then also too, New Mexico's coming up. So March 19th, it's all species deadline for New Mexico. So should be pretty interesting. My strategy's kind of changed this year though, because normally what I'd be putting in for is just a bunch of archery tags and wanting to go into September. I'm going rifle, and the reason for that is because the other life, the job life, has me tied up through September. So I'm like, okay, well, I won't necessarily be able to find the time to go in September. So a lot of the tags I'm putting in for is October, November. So it could be a birthday special in November.
Well, that's a lot. It's better weather to pull down an elk than when it's hot.
So we'll see how that goes.
It's rough.
Outside of that, just some opportunities coming up next month. I'm heading to Texas, buddy.
Nice. Yeehaw. What are you chasing? What are you chasing in Texas?
Whatever moves.
Okay.
I've been told make sure there's spots on it. So axis deer, because it's considered an exotic in Texas.
Well, that's right. You guys are going with Misha on that one spot that he found.
Yeah, that special ranch that will go remain unnamed, just so we can kind of have it to ourselves and then check it out and scout it, and then see if it becomes kind of an annual trip, and then maybe make it a club trip. Yeah, they got hogs there too. So hogs you can just kind of take right away, and I don't mind bringing home some wild pork meat. And then also, if an axis happens to step into the line of fire, then it'll be taken down. So some exciting stuff there.
That's good stuff. Axis and hog.
Yeah, so really looking forward to it. I really hope I get drawn someplace. I've actually been kind of debating on going in and putting in for Nevada as well. Not necessarily elk, but maybe looking at deer in Nevada.
Okay.
Nevada is kind of hard as an out-of-state resident, just the way that their draw is, and Nevada is actually expensive for elk. So a non-resident elk tag is going to cost $1,200.
Ooh, baby.
But if you put in for Nevada as an out-of-state resident for a deer tag, and they got great mule deer populations, especially kind of more up north in Nevada. A mule deer tag is going to drop right around $240, which isn't bad. But similar to Arizona, you gotta go all in on that license. Which again, I get, right. As a hunter and a supporter of conservation, I know that my money that I'm spending to maybe get the chance to hunt is not going to waste. It's going towards conservation and helping that state kind of keep up with the wildlife in that area.
No, for sure.
Because they all need it, man.
It's all good. Yeah. Well, most people don't realize that hunters are the ones that fund all of the conservation efforts. You know, the surveys, the studies, the enforcement. You know, of the rules. So that's good. That's a good thing. I think this year is going to be a hunting year light for me. I'm contemplating hunting Fort Hunter Liggett for deer, and maybe, although it'll probably be next year. Realistically, I'd like to go on a guided elk hunt in Colorado in the flat tops again.
Where you shot that elk that's hanging in the club right now?
Same mountain. But a different outfitter and something guided on horseback up there. I think that'd be cool. Rifle season, obviously, but yeah, I think it's probably a little bit too late for this year unless they have some kind of openings. But I want to go guided. I don't want to be out there by myself again.
Guided. I mean, if you have the chance to do that, that's a great hunt. Because a lot of the spots, I mean, there's different types of guided hunts, right? You've got the all-in where they're taking care of where you're staying, they're cooking your meals every single day.
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want access on the horse. So I'm looking for an outfitter that'll have the drop camp up there. I haul all my food up there. I'll cook for myself, and they basically pick me up in the morning with the horses, and we go looking for elk. Mm-hmm. And when we whack one out, they help me butcher it, and I'm not doing that for 8 hours by myself. Because
how long ago did you do that hunt?
That's a solid 7, maybe 8 years ago now.
Oh wow!
I'd have to look at it. Yeah.
So since then, you haven't.
I've shot two. I went with my dad and got skunked. Then went the year after. I shot one, a younger bull, a meat bull. I did have help. The other guys in camp. We each shot one, so we helped each other with the meat. And then the outfitter came up and picked up the...
That's what she said.
Okay. We helped each other with the meat. That's what
Brian,
she said.
welcome to the show.
Okay, Brian.
Hey, we want to thank all the viewers that are watching us on YouTube and Facebook. And hey, guys, remember, leave a comment, and the guys will definitely read out your comment out here on the screen. And if you got any questions, they'll answer them live on air.
So before I was rudely interrupted and destroyed, with my
I just heard giggles behind like the phones, and
I definitely have to get that
Brian,
sound
please,
effect on here.
Brian, please mute yourself. Thank you. just fucking mute yourself.
Listen to the Safari Man, Brian.
Okay, I'm just kidding. So anyway, long story short, yeah, I ended up butchering that one elk, the second elk, by myself with a 3-inch knife because I left all my knives in the can at the truck. Uh-huh. So yeah, it's just I'm not up for that by myself again. So I'm willing to pay.
So it's a light hunting season. No Africa, no chance.
No, I don't think so. Not this year.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say that there's zero chance, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely.
And by the way, man, compliments on the hat.
Yeah, that's the prop master over here. It makes me it's my dunce hat.
Langosta, you are going to be wearing this tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. So,
what about in terms of fishing? You got any fishing plans coming up? Because there's some club trips.
I'm gonna go on the club trip on the Voyager. On
Pac
V. Yeah, I'm gonna go on that
in June.
Yeah. hopefully get some tuna. You know,
When was the last time you went on that trip?
I didn't go last year because we were in Africa, so I went the year before. Yeah, I think we went last June.
That's a good trip, man. The guys tell great stories on the Pacific Voyager. So every year, for those of you that are kind of out in YouTube land and Facebook Live, our Redondo Rod and Gun Club puts together, and mostly Mr. Fogbank, who has the relationship with the boat, the Pacific
Master
Voyager, is an annual charter that our members go out on, and normally we fill the boat with like 16 people, so it's not bad at all. There's a lot of space, and with any type of fishing, it's going to be hit and miss. But for the most part, you know, our crews got pretty dang lucky, and I know last year things started off slow, but then eventually picked up, and they ended up with the whole boatload full of bluefin.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of a killer trip for everybody. So
I think I've been on that trip 4 times, maybe 5, and I think one time we were light on bluefin, but we went and caught. The boat was still full of fish. We ended up catching some other species out by
some rockfish or some bass.
Yeah, some rockfish.
Yeah.
So it's always fun because it's us friends. It's not a bunch of strangers on the boat.
That's one of the best things to do. I mean, if you got a bunch of people kind of on a boat that you know and you feel comfortable with, it's just so much fun. It's actually it's incredibly fun. And I haven't been on that trip yet, and I don't
really
know.
You haven't been on that trip?
I've not been on that trip.
Oh man, you gotta go on that trip.
Yeah, so this is the sixth year that I'm a member of the club, and I have not been on the Pacific Voyager trip yet.
So
I don't know, just the way.
What's keeping you from going this year?
Just those June dates kind of haven't aligned with the stars and the moon and the sun. So
well, it is when the kids are out. I think it's when the kids are out of school. So
yeah,
and it's funny because that boat, it's so sought after that he just tells us when, and like we're okay, yeah, we're there.
Yeah,
you know, it isn't like a negotiable thing,
and it always fills up. I mean, you guys have had some great trips on that
we've
boat.
We've never gone shy or light. I think the least amount of people that I've ever been on that boat was 12, and honestly I really like that because you get a lot of attention from the deckhands.
Yeah,
and you end up losing very little fish because the deckhands are right then, they're on the spot.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing too is, you always get some kind of newbies, and look, by no means am I a fisherman, right? I'm like a poser. I just go because you guys, I love bluefin. Catching bluefin tuna. I don't like.
Well, I think you like cutting up bluefin.
I do. I like that part. But the point is that when you have less people on the boat, you're able to bring aboard more fish if you're gonna bite. I mean, you just don't lose them, and the deckhands keep yanking fish up, and by the time they're done helping with your fish, somebody else already is hooked up. So it's.
And you never know what's going to happen. I think it was the last night of this past trip where the captain just kind of, it was really early in the morning, as I recall, and what the club members said, they said the captain just started yelling, and they made a joke of it because he was just like, it's corroded, talking about the fish finder, and they're like, corroded? Like, what's corroded mean?
Yeah, the dude gets pretty animated, bro.
It's like, corroded. Get your lines in the water.
He'll just say all this insane stuff, like it's like we're on. I don't know. He has like these adjectives for like it's monstrous. There's nothing. It's a solid line, Then they start throwing bait over you. Get all the freaking scale,
all the guts.
You smell like fucking fish.
Yeah,
you just need like to take 2 showers when you get home. Well. Anyway, it's fun as hell. It's fun as hell.
That's
You're
awesome.
with your buddies, and you drink too much.
I think it's important to point out too. I think for people that are hunters, fishermen, or looking to get into it, especially here in California, hunting and fishing clubs.
Well, that's a good segue. Yeah, especially if you're kind of new to hunting and fishing, and you want to kind of get started.
Yep.
I think joining a club is the best way to do that. I think
about
like a lot of the new guys that are joining the Redondo Rod and Gun Club. Even in 3 years and 3 seasons, they've already whacked out a deer. Some of them would go like 7 years, without whacking out a deer. And some people have killed a deer in three years. So.
No, I think it's great. And I think one thing that people might be intimidated by is joining like a hunting and fishing club. But that's how I got started. Like and I've told the story before on the show, but you know, I knew nothing really about hunting and fishing and how I'd get the chance to do it until I Googled, you know, hunting and fishing California, and based on my location, because we're tracked everywhere, the Redondo Rod and Gun Club popped up, and you know, I took that chance, and one Thursday joined a meeting, and I was like, okay, well, this is the inn, right? And you get to meet people that are in the hunting and fishing clubs, and they all like to do the things that you want to do in terms of hunting, fishing, being outdoors, playing with guns, going out to the range. And a lot of the ones that are here around the area, it's hunting and fishing. Some are more specific to hunting. Some are more specific to fishing. Just thinking about kind of like in the vicinity, we've got the Redondo Rod and Gun Club, and we welcome anybody that wants to come. And we've picked up a bunch of new members. Yeah. You've got the Compton Hunting and Fishing Club, and at first, like, hearing of it, it's like, Compton, there's a hunting and fishing club in Compton. Yeah. I must say that the Compton Hunting and Fishing Club is probably one of the nicest clubs. I'd put it out there in the nation.
Yeah, facility-wise, it's huge.
Facility-wise, it's amazing. And they have, you know, properties kind of all around. It's just a great club to be around. You got the Long Beach Rod and Gun Club.
I've driven by their clubhouse in Long Beach. It's nice.
We got to go stop by. I've never been there. And Long Beach isn't that far away. Yeah. So, and that's just a couple to name the few. I mean, you got the Safari Club of Southern California. RMEF, obviously not necessarily a club, but an organization that has roots here in California. So it's not just about clubs. You kind of go into these membership programs of like-minded people, and there's all kinds of things that are out there as well. But I was lucky enough to land in the Redondo Rod and Gun Club, and the fact that it's in the hometown of where I'm at here in California just made it better. And then also too, I think the other thing is you got to feel it out, because so many different clubs are different, right? Like there's ways that you become a member or what have you, and then so there's some pictures right there. Look, that's the RGC boys heading out into the desert. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, you build up a lot of good camaraderie if you're able to join the right place, you know.
And there's,
I think that's the key.
100%. And some places fit you, some places don't. But it doesn't mean that you have to belong to one. I mean, if I look at our club, we're all into hunting and fishing, but at the same time, it's not like you have to do A, B, C, attend here, do this, do that to kind of get involved in the club. And we all do our own shenanigans. Some other places are a bit more focused, but you know, cheers to them.
Yeah, it's like we're a drinking club with a hunting and fishing problem.
I think that's a great way to describe it. So if you have if you want to be a part of a hunting and fishing club with a drinking problem,
we're a formal drinking club with a hunting and fishing problem.
Oh man, you know, this water tastes good right now.
Yeah. So I think getting back to like the new guys, I think one of the hesitations people have about joining a hunt club is the fact that you're going to get judged because you don't know shit.
Yeah.
But you'd really be surprised how, look, so I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't feel this way from a kind of a first-hand perspective. The people that hunt and fish, I'm going to use myself as an example, so I'm not talking about anybody else. I can't talk to my normal friends about hunting and fishing because I would bore the shit out of them, right? Like, I can't tell you, I've been to Africa 3 times, and collectively with the people that I know outside of the club, I have probably talked about my trip collectively no more than 15 minutes. They just don't want to know. They don't want to know. No interest. And forget about the killing part of the hunting part, right? Like the adventure part.
Yeah.
That isn't even like on the radar of their curiosity.
That's
about
the whole
travel.
Story is the adventure.
100%. So this is my point. If you have a new member that's eager, that has a good attitude, that looks like is a good fit, is a good person, is not like, some kind of degenerate or whatever, and you show legitimate interest in this, people more than happy to talk to you about going, more than happy to invite you on a trip. And like some of the formal trips that the clubs go on, like the fishing trip that we were just talking about, that's open to the club, right? So that isn't like another member inviting you on a one-on-one, although you will get invited eventually on a one-on-one. Like
if you're cool.
If you're cool, yeah. If you're not a massive asshole. So I mean, it's funny. There's people that kind of assholes too, and they still get invited. But but I think a lot of it is, if you want to talk about being in an environment where you're not judged, like that's kind of it. Like maybe you get judged, but you get accepted for your quirks, right? That doesn't really happen in other polite society functions, So, I think a lot of the apprehensions that people have, it's in their head. It really doesn't. It really isn't real.
I tell you what, like I can honestly say I felt that way. I knew nothing about what I was stepping into, and I was pleasantly surprised when I went to the first meeting. I was like, okay, these guys are cool. And then you just strike up conversation and you become your normal self. I think it's natural to kind of be vulnerable in the sense of you step into an environment of unknown, and then you're like, oh, are these guys going to accept me? Or, what's this conversation going to be like? How weird is it going to be? But if you don't take that first step, then you'll never know. And then for the most part, it works out.
I think so. I think that, like, and I'm only a member of the Redondo, so I'm not a member of the other clubs that we mentioned. But I think that if you show up there and you're just humble, you're just like a normal person, you don't go in there with like crazy hang-ups, or you don't go in there like really cocky about stuff, you're probably going to click in pretty good, and you're probably going to get invited to do stuff pretty quickly. Yeah. So it's just a matter of having the right attitude, I think.
It's a great way to get involved. And then you meet so many different people. And then from there, it's just kind of that magic moment happens where, you make that connection, you go on different hunts, different events, whether it's fishing or hunting, or even shooting, right? Because some people, they want to be a part of a hunting and fishing club because, there's it's not just about hunting and fishing, but they're playing with all the toys.
Look at this thing. This is a guy that didn't fish like all that much in a few years. Like he was slamming those things.
That's a nice looking fish right there. That's on the Pack Voyager, right?
Yeah.
On one of the club events?
100-pounder, man. 100-pounder plus.
Dude, that's massive.
$120 or something. Look at those yellow. I love eating yellowtail. Jesus. That's the best sushi fish.
Oh man, the sashimi coming off of that yellowtail is beautiful. And you get a fat one, and you just take that hamachi belly, and it's just beautiful stuff.
It's amazing. So I guess the other aspect of joining a club is how quickly you progress. So if I think of like the times that I'd go by myself, or with some friends that I talked into going that really weren't hunters. Yeah. They just kind of go just to hang out and see what it's all about. It's really a trip how because the clubs have so many different events going on. Like there's some guys that go at the Baja California fishing thing. There's guys that fish the sport fishing, for rockfish, bluefin, yellowfin, whatever the bite is. That was one of the years we got. I think that's one of those, a skipjack. So the different club members will have so many different opportunities, man, that you can hunt or fish, all over the world if you had the coin to do it, So last year we took I've been to Africa 3 times, and on 2 trips I've taken club members with me. Last year I took 3 members to
Raul.
Yeah, so it was Raul. He's a true member, and then you got Octavio. He's not a member, but he's a affiliate. And then my buddy Aaron went with us. So, but the previous trip I went with Empty Clip. On the first trip I went with Empty Clip. Right. And that was really kind of funny because he had no intention of going. I was like, hey man, I'm leaving on, I don't know, like 2 weeks from now. We had like a party at the club on a Saturday. He's like, oh, I'm in. I'm like, all right, well, this is what you need. And sure enough, he went. And we were in Africa 2 weeks
That's later. How he rolls, man.
Yeah, he's pretty spontaneous. There's Raul with his beautiful gems buck in Namibia. And I think that's
last year.
That's Aaron's kudu, yeah.
Yeah, and to what you said, I mean, it's provided me all of the opportunity that I've had. So just kind of being a member, going on 6 years now, I've been on a hunt in New Mexico. I've been on a hunt in Arizona. I've been on 2 hunts in Colorado. I've been on multiple local deer hunts. I've been on a ton of turkey hunts.
Yeah.
I've been on fishing trips.
So would you think you would have gone on that many?
No way.
On your own?
Not
you wouldn't even
a
know.
chance.
You would have known about
I'd
it.
probably still be thinking about it, let alone, gone on a trip, right? I still would have been probably on that Redondo special fishing rock shift on a fish on like a 2.5 hour trip out of like Kings Harbor or something like that.
Been
So, it's been really good. Quail hunts. I mean, it
Epic-
really
epic
opens. It really opens up the world when you kind of have and are amongst people of like-mindedness and like to do the same things that you do in hunting and fishing. And this just holds true for anything, right? Like 100%. If you're into whatever it is, get to know more people that do it. That's a great sound.
Yep.
I miss that sound. That sound's going to be coming up in, the way that time flies, like just, not soon enough, but soon enough.
Yep.
But you put yourself and you surround yourself around like-minded people, and then opportunities take place. They happen, and you make it happen. And being a part of a hunting and fishing club is probably for me the biggest recommendation for people that are getting into hunting and fishing or have ever wanted the chance to do it. It's like, hey, surround yourself with people that like to do the same things, and you're gonna go. It's gonna be natural.
I've never been on my first time on a blue water fishing trip where you're overnight was when they rented the Pac V. I had never done that. In my mind, I had never even viewed that as something I wanted to do. Look at those birds. I was with you. How many years ago was that?
Oh man, look at how young I look. How many years? Oh man,
like
that's got to be like
4
years ago.
Yeah, God, it was a big
4
bird.
years ago. That was a nice little double that we got here. Public land, turkey hunting, California. Spring turkey's coming up in March.
I think I'd like to do that.
This month.
I think I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Little raghorn.
So there's all kind of opportunity that's out there, and like I said, and like you're saying right now, I mean, I would not have ever done any of this had it not been joining a hunting and fishing club, and I think I lucked out being able to join the RRGC crew.
I think like with you, probably in the last 5 years, I could honestly say that you guys, the new members, have really raised the game. Because, it first started, I think that fishing trip to our charter where we chartered a boat, that was maybe 6 years ago when it started.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, you guys are going on like your own, like Chuck has gotten, he probably goes on like 4 or 5 big trips a season. You guys have opened up. In my opinion, I was the first one to go to Colorado. And when I whacked out, well, let me back up. When that year that I got that elk trophy that's hanging at the club, I think that really started the momentum for going out of state, because the guys that were there were still new and getting to know deer hunting season, right? And I think a few of them kind of experimented with hunting in Texas for whitetail, stuff like that. And then when the taxidermy came back from Colorado, I drove down there with my wife to go pick it up, and we which is kind of crazy to drive to Colorado to go pick up taxidermy. But that's the base of the Flat Top Mountains up there. And I think that was kind of like, hey man, there's other things to do other than California, right?
Yeah.
And here, this is me staying at the Meeker Hotel, which is like pilgrimage to, look at it, I don't have any gray on my beard. God, I was so young. So that entire lobby's full of beautiful antlers.
Yeah.
And it's a tradition that people stay there when they go hunt in Colorado at Meeker, and they'll stay there the night before they go on their guided hunts. So I think that was kind of like the beginning of the momentum, and then you guys just like ran with it. Like you just like applying everywhere. Let's go to New Mexico, let's go to Arizona, let's go to Utah. And then same thing, Raul with his group of friends started doing the same thing and that's our drop camp at with Chuck and Vic, and they do breakfast big over those two. But you basically sleep in them in a tent for a week up there in the middle of nowhere with like 2 feet of snow on the ground and all that shit.
And why not? hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. You endure a lot of hardship.
Look at that, man. With that tent, you could like be on alone.
It was.
You could quite possibly win the whole show.
Yeah, that was me. That was me when I shot that elk. I was by myself in the tent for a week.
It's a lot of fun, man. And I'll tell you what, like, hunting out of state, it's something that you got to do. Here in California, you can hunt deer every year. If you put in for the right tags, you're using the right weapon, you can hunt deer every single year. But when it comes to elk, although we have a very healthy elk population here in California, it's difficult. Like it takes a lifetime to literally get the chance to draw a tag.
Big money.
Big money. We're talking $40,000-$50,000 to elk hunt in California. Yeah. But it's no joke. We've got a healthy elk population. But if you want to hunt elk, you can't necessarily put all your marbles in California. You have to spread out, and you've got to look out of state.
For sure.
And that's one of those things that, at the club, and for anybody that's out there, if they're interested in hunting and hunting out of state, there's chances that you can hunt elk every single year. You just got to kind of know, the different states to put in for. You got to kind of commit. You got to find the time, because that's one of the other things that's important, is you got to have the time to actually do it, because you can't just go out there. If you're going to go out of state, it's not a weekend hunt. It's not like, I'm going to go out there on Friday and then I'm going to come home on Sunday. Bullshit. That's not going to happen.
It's a big commitment of time, resources, and you got to be in shape.
Yeah.
Humping one of those things off the hill is no joke. That's
yeah. Talking about taking things off of the hill. That guy right there did that elk by himself.
Yeah.
That was in New Mexico. That was a really nice hunt. And unfortunately, I had left by the time I'd spent a week out there, and then, this guy pictured here for some reason gets like all of September off. That lucky bastard.
So he took that elk off. That's a 650-pound elk on the hoof. You're gonna have 400 pounds of meat with no bones.
That guy's name is Dusty.
A lot of trips.
Dusty is that elk's name.
So that's one of the ones at the club. That's one of the ones at the club, right?
Yeah, it's a nice. I think it was a 7x6 out of New Mexico archery.
Archery, man. That was very respectable.
Yeah, pretty sweet, man. So there's a lot of stuff. Oh, look, there's your baby boy right there.
That's Frosty in the corner.
Oh, so he's got a name too.
Yeah, because we brought him back. We had a snowstorm and his ears were like frostbitten after the taxidermy was done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the ends of his ears were frozen.
That's awesome. So join a hunt club, get involved, and surround yourself by people that do the things that you love. And I'm pretty sure you're going to all have the opportunity to go out there and have some fun. There's a lot of stuff that's coming up, some things that have just passed. It's kind of the off season for the sport fishing. I know you did a segment on the Hall Show. You got to go out to Long Beach and go to the Hall Show. And just recently, they had the PCS show, the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show, which has grown into an enormous event. And our Instagram, based on everybody that we follow, was just blowing up with pictures of, people out there having a great time. Dads, moms taking their kids out there. There was a trout fishing pool. There was over like 150 vendors that were over at the PCS show. And oh, by the way, one of our really good friends, Chuck Zimmer, the Zimmerman, he started his company, Z Custom Rods. And he started it not too long ago. And Chuck, he gets into all kinds of different hobbies, so much so that his wife one year actually made a 12-month calendar of all the different hobbies that he got into and fell out of, and kind of made it as a prank calendar, but I'm sure he appreciated it. But Chuck was there at the PCS show. This is actually one of his custom mugs that he makes. He's not only making rods, but he's making custom tumblers. So We've gotten some compliments in the comments about that. He entered one of his rods into the competition down there at the PCS show, and guess what?
He ranked.
He placed in the People's Choice Award. Z Custom Rods had a rod in there that came in third place. Brian, is there a way I can send this to you so we can pop it up there? How do I send it to you?
I'm actually popping it up on the screen right now.
You're popping it up on the screen right now? Yeah, so Z Custom Rods, Chuck, he just dived into it this past year. I actually won one of his rods, a jigging rod, that I'll bring onto the show one day. Actually, I think I brought it. I forget already.
We did bring it.
I don't remember a lot of stuff that happens on these shows
The
until
other day
I watch them again.
when you talked about your Avid reel.
Okay.
You brought it here.
So I won one of his jigging rods, and he's just been killing it, man. He has been killing it. So there's Rods by Z Custom Rods, and it's an up-and-coming name to the game. I'm pretty sure that if you are a fisherman, the way that Truck works, he's going 125% into the game. So you're going to see more and more of what he's putting out there. And I'll send you a picture, Brian, and we can post it on our Instagram or our Facebook of the rod that placed him in third place. So congrats to him and much more to come.
Right on, yeah.
We'll have him back on the show. As a matter of fact, he was our first guest on the show talking about sport fishing.
Yeah.
And talking about that. You know, we're almost going to be celebrating our first anniversary
1 year
of Rifles, Rods, and Broads. We're going to have to think about what we're going to do. Do we know the exact date, Brian? When did our first show drop?
Oh, that is a good question. I don't know the exact date. I think it's in April.
It was in April?
It's close.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner.
It's coming up. I remember last year, man, every time we'd have a show, it was like raining outside, and today is another one of those rainy days. But you know what I appreciate about today?
What?
It was still sunny as I got off of work.
Yeah, it was kind of some moments of sunshine there.
When we spring forward, I'm so happy that the sun's still out at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
I swear to God, we like voted on something to get rid of daylight savings time at one point or another. But
when we spring forward, everybody loves it. Everybody loves to see the sunshine.
man,
Yep.
it's a bit more difficult waking up in the morning to go to the gym though, because 4:15 waking up is no longer
dark.
4:15. It's freaking 3:15 in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know how you did that after the weekend we had over at the Freedom Ranch.
What weekend did we have?
Freedom Ranch weekend at the beautiful,
Where was I?
vast Mojave.
That was awesome, man.
That was a great trip.
That was a great trip. I saw Brian putting up some pictures and some video from our trip over at Mojave.
Yep, had a little place I bought quite a bit ago. I probably had it maybe 7-10 years ago, something like that. And put a little cabin up there, built a little range up there. And it's really a place to go shoot and relax and unwind. And, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why you hang out with other people that like hunting and fishing. You talk to people, you tell them, oh, where'd you buy? You bought a place in Palm Springs? I bought a place in the desert. Oh, really, Palm Springs? No. Over Rancho Mirage? No. Over by Temecula? No. I'm like, it's in the desert where nobody wants to be, so that I could be there by myself and relax a little bit. They're like, oh, yeah? Why would you want to do that? Whatever. I don't know. If you don't get it from go, I can't explain it to you.
It's funny, whenever I put my out of office message, then I send it out to, you know, the people at work, like, hey, JoJo's going to be out of office. Here's the location. I'll put coordinates. So this time I put the coordinates of your desert oasis. And when you click on those coordinates and it goes to that exact location, there's absolutely nothing else around for miles and miles and miles. And man, what a freaking beautiful place.
So I'm gonna tell you the story of why I ended up there, right? Because I've been asked that a lot. So maybe 15 years ago, I wanted to get into long range shooting. So I went to Palmdale and I set up, bro, I drove to the middle, in my mind, the middle of nowhere in Palmdale, right? I drove and drove and drove and drove. We found a hill because you got to shoot against a hill. I set up some targets and I set up at 400. I shot, I hit my target. I went out to like 750 or something like that. And I get in the scope, I lay down. I mean, this is taking like hours to set all this up and set up camp and all that. And I lay down, I'm getting ready to shoot again. I look through the scope, and there's some asshole standing by my target looking at it. wondering what the fuck is going on. And he's in a motorcycle, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, great. Let's pick up all the shit. We're all done here. Because he's got to not be the only asshole there. There's got to be some other asshole in a motorcycle riding out there. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is you know, shoot somebody by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know, pretty. I was there with my dad, and he's like, well, what's wrong? Like, we can't do this here. Like, you just can't do it here. We're gonna hurt somebody, and it's gonna be a big ass problem. So I'm looking under Landwatch, which is like an online eBay for buying dirt all over the country. And I found that place, and it was 20 acres. It was very reasonable. So we bought it, you know, and it took me, you know, I kind of got started on it right away. My dad had a heart attack, had a heart attack like 6 months earlier, and he's always wanted to have like a little ranch, a little cabin somewhere, blah, blah, blah. So once my dad was better, we started building it. And had some of the guys from, you know, my company come out and help me build it, lay the foundation, all that stuff. And it costs way too much money to do that little shack thing. But it serves its purpose. And what's its purpose? Its purpose is to go somewhere where I control the property. I can actually set up targets. I can shoot on my place, and it's legal, and you know, nobody can tell me shit.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it is literally in the middle of nowhere. And I had a great time, so thank you very much for the invitation.
My pleasure.
It was awesome.
That was the most amount of people we've had there ever since I've owned the place.
We had a population.
We did have a population.
Oh,
so
man.
I got to just kind of clean things up and develop a little bit more of the range. I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and bring the bulldozer again and build the berms, but the return berms, so that we can do more stuff.
I still can't believe that you drove a bulldozer
17 miles
from the road
18 miles
to where your property is. Yeah. I could not imagine what that ride was like.
Slow.
I bet.
There's video. I'll post it. That there's video of us in the quads buzzing around, and I'm like, you know, on the dozer.
I mean, it was perfect timing too, because as we were talking about earlier about how I'm kind of putting in more for rifle tags, I just, you know, got some new ammo and wanted to really kind of get it sighted in at 100, 200, and so on. So, got the chance to do that. That was fantastic. We actually got a lot of pictures. So we'll post a bunch of pictures up to our Facebook, and then one of these days we'll probably get a deep dive into some great stories, because I can tell you, once the shooting was done and the drinking begun, that it took on a whole new level.
Yeah, campfires are fun time. Fun part of the hunting.
We had a campfire host too, man. Ron was like the man when it came to the campfire, so it was awesome.
What's going on, JTW? What's up, man?
What up? What up? What up? Hi.
Well, listen, I think Brian, did you get a text from Randy? Is he anywhere around? Yeah, I think Randy's outside.
I think Randy is outside.
Get Randy's situation here. See what's going on in Randy's world.
So now that we're coming up on 1 year, and one of the things that we wanted to do in 2025 was bring to you more guests. And what we wanted to do was really find some local talent, people here locally in Southern California that a lot of you that are listening and watching out there will recognize. I actually met a buddy out at the archery range, the South Bay Archery Club, when it was open and Palos Verdes wasn't sliding into the ocean. Justin, his Instagram handle is at American_flag_co. Check him out on Instagram. Justin has himself a business of not only being outdoors and enjoying the outdoors with his friends and family, but he's got a business of making some of the most beautiful American flags out there, all handmade Real Wood. And if you guys check out his Instagram handle, you'll just find some of the most amazing artwork. He's done pieces for people of the likes of Dana White. If you watch the Joe Rogan show, his flag is in the background of the Joe Rogan show, always taking pics. But he's kind of been around the United States of America, making these beautiful American flags. And he's right here local here in the South Bay. So we went ahead and invited him on the show, and he's going to be joining us for a recorded show next week. So we'll definitely be posting that out. Again, Justin from his Instagram handle, American_flag_CO. It's going to be fantastic. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast, Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. But without further ado, some of you love this guy right here.
What's happening, boys and girls?
What up, cousin Randy?
It's cousin here, cousin the whole wide world. The whole wide world. And I don't know what's going on, you boys. You got no money to pay for the heat, but I'm kind of cold in the studio here, and I can't smoke my cigar in here due to the fact that you guys are a bunch of little communist queefers.
So, cousin Randy, Brian picked Langosta's hat. Did he pick your poncho too, or what?
Well, I'm trying to be multiculturally friendly here, and it's the softer side of Randy here is what you're looking at today right now. All right, boys, we got Mullet Mail. For those of you young rascals that don't know about Mullet Mail, you send in your Mullet Mail over at Mullet Mail at Rifles, Rods, and Broads, and or any little rants about things that bug the crap out of you while you're out there hunting and fishing. And we read them on the air. And if we read your Mullet Mail on the air, you're going to get yourself a free prize. All right, so our first Mullet Mail as of 3/11/25 is from AKA Ghostfish. Screen name Ghostfish.
Ghostfish.
Hey boys, your friend Ghostfish here. I've been a long time fan, wanted to say hi, and I've enjoyed learning more about fishing with JoJo and learning more about hunting and guns with Langosta. I watched a recent episode on the Avid Reels rep and got to thinking, what's your go-to reel? Is it Daiwa? Is it Avid? Is it Shimano? Is it Pan? What do you think, JoJo? What's your favorite reel?
That's a great question. It depends on what I'm fishing for. So if I'm on a sport fishing boat, I'm going to stay local here in California, and I'm going to go with an Avid. But my surf fishing rods are all outfitted with Daiwa reels.
We like the old Daiwa?
I like the Daiwa.
Now, is that made in the China or in the Japano?
It's made in the Japano.
Oh, yeah.
Via China and the U.S. tariff.
No. Oh, yeah. That little Trumpster, he's a little bit of a trickster. You're going to have a little bit of serious problem right now if you're going to be importing your situation. So, by the way, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and buy your shit right now. If you want to avoid your little communist taxes, the little shenanigans going on here. All right. Or does Randy prefer shooting at fish from the deck of his Chris Craft boat? Listen, dude, let me tell you something, man. I wish I had a Chris Craft boat. If I had a Chris Craft boat, I'd shoot a bazooka off the bow there and pop myself a little.
I'm sure you would.
I mean, mostly for fun. And if some fish came up dead, then, we'll scoop them up with a little. That's what nets are for. That's what nets are for. All right. So, look, in my case, to be quite honest with you, man, I mean, I'm on Langosta's side with this. And we'd rather shoot at fish than catch them with a hook. Okay, if you got people don't understand the flexibility of an AR-15. Okay, when you take off your little scope and your little long range crap you got on there, and you just shoot, you're gonna get yourself some fish.
Yeah, especially if you're in on a nice school. I'm pretty sure that shoot method works kind of relatively well.
Unfortunately, if you're in the communist waters of California, shoot yourself a little sea lion, gonna cost you a few bucks. So just buyer beware of that advice. All right, so next item of discussion here is my Redneck Rants.
I'll tell you what, I do appreciate the fact that our fans that are sending Mullet Mail and these the mail that we get at Mullet Mail at Rifles, Rods, and Broads does it in such a font that it's easy to read.
Well, due to my failing ailments of my 1010 eyesight, we do appreciate a size 24 font, please. Thank you very much. But I got Brian here. He's a good little young whippersnapper, and he doing the technology. He goes and gets me a situation in a way that accommodates my blindness. Okay, Redneck Rant. Here we go, boys. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Boys, I have to complain about all you cheapskates out there that use cheap ammo. I recently helped a friend zero in his China-made SKS, which are problems by itself, and it took us 30 minutes because they were using cheap ammo. Listen, man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something.
Speak the gospel, Cousin Randy. Speak the gospel.
If you're going to go through the trouble of sighting in a rifle, and if you don't know what sighting in a rifle is, go to the Google. But if you do know what sighting in a rifle is, for Christ's sake, man, use the best freaking ammo you can buy.
Really?
Yeah. Don't buy the shittiest, crappiest, inconsistent, leftover, dog shit gun show ammo that you found somewhere.
Really?
Right. So don't do that. And for those of you little suckers that
Timing's a little off.
For those of you that are not familiar with what steel jacketed ammo is. Okay, no, wait. Let's back up a little bit.
Okay, back it up. Back it up.
If you have presented with you and get invited somewhere, and the invitor, your motherfucking host, offers you to shoot at new steel targets. Don't shoot steel bullets at the steel targets that break the targets.
You may come up empty.
Yeah. You may come up empty, invitational. So do not shoot steel jacketed bullets at steel is the moral of the story. Shoot anything else you want, but just don't shoot that. And if you do shoot at the steel with steel jacketed bullets, don't deny the fact that they're steel jacketed bullets, because they're the only bullets that can do that to the steel targets. So in a line of 3 or 4 other motherfuckers where nobody else has got steel jacketed bullets, you're the only poor bastard that can do the damage that you did to the steel.
So in kangaroo court, you are brought up on charges and found guilty.
You could be brought up on charges.
Yeah.
You could be whipped at the post. You could get lightly beaten, or you could get charged a bottle of good whiskey.
Oh, man.
Not no goddamn cinnamon ball or whatever the fuck it is you get motherfuckers drink. But some good stuff. And that may soften the separation between you and your host in said events. I'm just saying this is all hypothetical. No one's ever seen anything, any evidence of such things, but this is part of Randy's rants so that you too can avoid being the asshole that broke brand new steel targets.
Well, Randy, thank you very much for the advice that you have. And after hearing that rant, I think we have all been educated a little more on what to do and, more importantly, what not to do when being invited to.
Well, it's very good. It's very good. And for those of you that haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to send us a little rant or any mail, send it to
Mullet Mail.
Mullet Mail at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Thank you very much, JoJo. I was having a little lapse of ADD. Could have been a little bit of whiskey.
That's fine, but it sounds like after the weekend that you had, that's okay. You get a free pass.
We're wrapping it up right now, boys and girls. Randy, Cousin Randy, reminding you, go shoot and go shoot straight and go shoot often. And see you till next time.
Randy, thank you very much for joining the show, Rifles, Rods, and Broads. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining our live show here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Whether you are joining on YouTube or Facebook Live, always a pleasure having Randy here. And Langosta took a little break, so he's going to be back really, really shortly. Just some upcoming things that I'll mention that are coming up here locally. The California Waterfowl Association is going to have their annual California Waterfowl Association Banquet here in Southern California, the Fountain Valley event. So if you guys are interested, make sure you check out their website, the CWA, or California Waterfowl Association. May 17th is going to be the date. Last year was the first year that the Redondo Rod and Gun Club crew went out there, purchased the table, and we had ourselves a great freaking time. So make sure that you guys join the CWA event here in Fountain, or here in Southern California at Fountain Valley, coming up on May 17th. And then me, as the tournament director of the RRGC crew, is going to be hosting the annual surf fishing tournament. So if you guys all joined us last year, it was a great event. We have another event coming up in May. When the fish start full bite, we are going to have our surf fishing tournament May 24th to the 31st. And the event that we have at the end of the tournament is always a fantastic event with a taco guy, lots of prizes to give away, and cash prizes for the most prized fish. We're talking spot fin croaker, yellowfin croaker. We're talking halibut. We're talking surf perch. And also Corbina. So look for the flyers out on social media. We've got a lot of guests coming up. Again, Justin from American Flag Company. Check him out on Instagram. We're going to be inviting Phil Friedman to the show. We're going to have Chuck back from Zimmer Customs. Mav Glass USA. Aloha. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure, if you don't know about Mav Glass, check out Mav Glass, and you'll be very excited that I told you about it. Right so on. Check them out. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. Again, a lot of stuff kind of coming up. Our CWA event on May 17th, and then our fishing tournament, our surf fishing tournament, May 24th.
And we're gonna sneak in a little chaser.
Hey, it's coming up March. Let me check out those dates right now, because that is like really soon. If I'm not mistaken, it's like March 19th or something. But let me just Google that.
I'm pretty good at sweet talking them little turkeys in there.
Yeah, so if you guys are out here in California, turkey season's coming up. So March 30th to May 5th. And within that time frame, there's all kinds of different hunts. So you're going to have your shotgun hunt. You're going to have archery season, as well as a youth season. In the spring, it's all about bearded birds. So,
well, I would consider myself more of a master plucker.
Master plucker.
A master plucker, yeah. You get... I get that bird down, and I'm a master plucker. I mean, first I talk them in real sweet. They get real jealous over here when I start calling. They can't help it. And then all of a sudden, what happens? And then that's a big bang. And then it's called master plucking. Yeah. Master plucking is a little bit of a dirty business.
There's nothing better than hunting turkey, man, on public land here in California. We got some beautiful turkeys out there. So March 30th, again, coming up. March 30th to May 5th, turkey season, spring turkey season. It's kind of one of those things that you do in between big game and additional upland bird game hunting. You have turkey season here in the spring, and it's all over the U.S., so you don't just have to stick to California. There's other chances for you to go turkey hunting kind of across the nation, because we live in a beautiful motherfucking country
I'm gonna see
called America.
I love America. And we're going to go hunt turkey in the Gulf of America, more like Santa Monica. Can we change Santa Monica's city name?
To what?
I don't know. Something other than Santa Monica.
Oh, man. We're starting a bunch of shit here.
I don't know. All right, guys. It's time to wrap this thing up. Guys, thanks for watching another episode of Rifles, Rods, and Broads. I am Langosta.
And JoJo here. Mahalo for listening in, tuning in to Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Shout out to Megna for tuning in. Thank you guys very much. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check us out. Hit that thumbs up and keep on tuning in. Again, another live episode. Aloha.
See you guys in April for the next live stream.
April 1st, baby, and that's not a joke.
Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We need your support. Ting. And we got merch. Don't forget about the merch. Look at the merch.